Welcome to 9 Mile Road, the official podcast of the Grand Lodge of Virginia, ancient, free, and accepted Masons. I'm your host, Worshipful Brother Jason Himsey. Each episode, we sit down with lodge leaders, scholars, and community guests to explore Masonic history, leadership, lodge best practices, and issues that matter to Masons, and to curious listeners beyond the craft. Whether you're a brother, a family member, or simply interested in what Freemasonry stands for, you're welcome here. Now, let's begin. Welcome to the 9 Mile Road podcast. I'm joined today by Most Worshipful Matt Zamoski and Right Worshipful Dennis Haas, the chairman of the Communication Committee. And today we are going to talk about the Grand Lodge of Virginia's Communication Committee. Right Worshipful.
Good morning.
What is the role of the Grand Lodge of Virginia's Communication Committee?
So at the end of the day, the role of our committee is to tell the story of Virginia Freemasonry to the public in general and to the members in a clear, concise, transparent, and accurate way by using all modes of communications available, whether it's digital, whether it's hard copy, whether it's written, but it's to tell our story. And we feel that's important to tell our story because if we don't, other people will, and typically it is incorrect. So for us to be transparent and actually let the community know what Freemasonry does in Virginia is for us to lay that out.
Great.
And it's important to note the committee's role was expanded at the last Grand Annual Communication. We changed the name from Public Relations to Communication because it was more appropriate. Now the committee, in addition to social media, is also overseeing the Grand Lodge website and really essentially any outgoing communications of the Grand Lodge.
Great, thank you. I've seen the new Grand Lodge website and it has evolved quite a bit, and I think it's a great presentation to the public of the craft in Virginia.
Yeah, and again, the Grand Lodge, to be ushered into the new digital age, right, in a safe and secure manner, more of a business approach to set standards and protocols, and official language from the Grand Lodge is not what a brother might project. So again, if it's official statements from the Grand Lodge, it is endorsed and approved by the Grand Lodge, and we speak on behalf of all of Virginia Masonry, to include supporting the appendant bodies, whether it's York Rite or Scottish Rite. Any of the organizations fall under the same set of guidelines that's been established now for our communication standard.
One improvement we've made too, I think, with the Communication Committee is they've created several templates. So if we put out announcements that are related, for example, a Grand Master's visit, there's a common background. So when brethren look at social media, instantly need to know what type of event this is, what kind of activity, and that helps to have that consistency, which we didn't in the past.
Yeah. And again, a branding, right? A branding and marketing strategy. The face of who we are, what we do, needs to be known. So we want to get that recognition out there that they'll know this is an official publication of the Grand Lodge. And again, that brand name, household name for Virginia Freemasonry.
Now, Right Worshipful, you touched on it already here and there, but why is social media important for the fraternity, particularly for the Grand Lodge of Virginia?
Yeah. So several years ago, we were in a leadership conference, and the statement was made that in order for Freemasonry to grow and be sustained, we have to learn to communicate to every member. And when you look at the age range of our membership, in the past it was the traditional monthly trestle board. It would be mailed out, and that would be for a 30-day period. Well, in today's environment and society, things change within the hour. So how do we communicate the most updated, accurate information to the members? Yeah, the trestle board still goes out, but if you really want to be connected and know what all is happening and where it's happening, you got to get on the digital platform. So the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter, all of those platforms now we leverage with the same consistent message even on our website. So again, if you really want to know what's happening, you got to be connected. We've had one of the good news stories. 98-year-old Mason just informed me he opened a Facebook page just to keep up with the quick changing announcements and events that's taking place that they never had access to. We want to attract for the future younger Masons. They don't know about a mailed trestle board. They don't even get the mail. So again, how do we learn to communicate to every member across all platforms? That's why it's important for our branding and our marketing strategy to align with all the platforms and consistent communication, appearance. Every age group, no matter what medium you're using, will know that this is from the Grand Lodge.
You know, and one of the benefits of that is in the past, you know, certainly social media, the Grand Lodge can put out information on it, but now with the communication committee, lodges have an opportunity to let brethren know outside of their own district, their own membership, what they're doing. So if they have a special activity, it enables them to hopefully get a larger attendance, increased interest in the activities they're having as well.
Great. And right worshipful, if a brother in the Commonwealth wanted to contribute to Grand Lodge social media, how could they do that? If they wanted to be featured, or if they had content that they wanted to share with the craft or with the public in general?
Yeah, good question. So we've established a couple of different pathways to be able to support the subordinate lodges. One, we put out information through Grandview, which goes to the lodge secretary. So every lodge secretary, and let me just pause and talk about the importance of the lodge secretaries, right? That one brother who has to carry the lion's share of the work. They are so instrumental in keeping the health of that lodge good and the brethren informed. So again, how do we communicate to that? Through Grandview, we'll script a message out. We put messages out on the private Facebook Grand Lodge, official Grand Lodge Facebook group, and also on our public-facing, soliciting information. What do you have coming up in the next 2 years that we need to help plan for? So we have our own graphics design team. If it's something that you need help with graphics or designing a logo or an image, we're there to help you do that, figure that out. When we post on social media, we can do targeted demographic posts. So again, if it's a regional event versus a statewide event, what group are we actually wanting to attract to that particular event? So again, we encourage every Mason across the state, if there's an event coming up, we have an email that you can send the information to. We will then get in touch with you and help script out the message that goes out. And then at the conclusion, send us the photographs, send us like an after action review, and all that will be a follow-up to the original post that we sent out to help you. Again, we are a service organization. Your community should know who the Freemasons are in that community, whether it's Richmond or whether it's Castlewood, Southwest West Virginia. Your community should know who you are, what you do, the activity that you support the community with, community blood programs, blood drives, scholarships. There's a lot of events that the Grand Lodge does that touches across from Southwest to the Tidewater area to Northern Virginia. We have to get that information out. That's what I mean about telling our story. And we need the local community, the local lodges, to feed us that information, because often we don't even know all the activities that's taken place. So again, reach out to us through our email. You can reach out to us on our website. You can respond to us on Facebook. We will then get in touch with you and continue to help you establish that event.
Great.
And if you are interested, we're always looking for talent, right? So again, as the Most Worshipful said, we kind of shifted gears from the Public Relations Committee to a Communications Committee. So our group now is structured in like a planning team. So each group has a team of brothers that do certain work. So I talked about branding and marketing. That is one of our areas. Public ceremonies. So when the Grand Master goes to a wreath laying, that falls under public ceremonies. If we do a funeral, that falls under public ceremonies. Anything that we would be a parade, for example. That's a public ceremony. So we have a group that does nothing but focuses on that. Our branding and marketing. We have our social media team. That is a huge team. Not only are they keeping up with posts for Grand Lodge, they're doing it for Grand Chapter Royal Archmasons in Virginia, Grand Commander of Knights Templar in Virginia, Scottish Rite, Shriners. That social media platform is helping all of those organizations with consistent messaging coming out from the Grand Lodge in support of all that. So we're always looking for skills, what talent you have, whether you're a drone operator, a videographer, a photographer, a content creator. We're structured to assign these skills to people, and then you've got to be self-motivated and driven. We want you to own it. That's the freedom of this committee now, is you own that piece of the mission. Website development. We have numerous websites that we are overseeing and developing and keeping fresh content up with. And then we've got the podcast, the video team that does our broadcasting, your Grandmasters Challenges, this podcast session. That is a group in and of itself that does that. So we're always looking for help. If you're interested, a little bit of a business approach, we ask for your resume. Tell us about your background, because you might have something in your professional background that we can leverage here that no one would even know that you have that skill set. So not just the Masonic resume, we encourage to send us both so that we get a full picture of you. We would then set up an interview. We would talk about expectations and kind of what the gap is we're looking to fill or what your interest might be. And we want to put you in a place where you are set up for success. We want you to be happy with what you're doing and understand what it is you're doing. You're going to excel. And when you excel, kind of like Freemasonry in general, when you excel, the committee excels, which the Grand Lodge excels, and it all falls downhill from there. So that's kind of a different approach that we've taken from what the traditional Masonic approach. So it seems to have worked out over the last few years that way.
Yeah. You've touched on bits and pieces of the communication committee already, and that is, how the communication committee, helps lodges. But can you go into more specific detail about what resources the Grand Lodge communication committee has to help subordinate lodges affirmatively?
So when the Grand Lodge decided to change from public relations to communications, we have developed a 5-year strategic plan that from the Grand Master all the way down to the Grand Junior Deacon agreed to support so that we would have continuity from year to year. The Grand Master puts his fingerprint on his year, but the base program would remain the same and continue to be built year to year, which also included a financial investment strategy. So the Grand Lodge has invested our members' dollars to help us tell the story. So again, the Grand Lodge doesn't create Master Masons, the local lodge does. So everything the Grand Lodge is invested in, whether it be resources or money or equipment, all of that has to touch the local lodge or it's not going to give us the return on investment that we're looking for. So again, we have to know what it is you need help with. That goes back to the lodge secretary. If you don't have somebody in your lodge that is a digital, online person, we need to help find somebody that in your local lodge can be that conduit back to our committee so that we know how to communicate to the 275 lodges throughout the state. So again, it may be an adjoining lodge. It might be some other lodge in the district that we lean on to help you. So again, we've got to be able to connect those dots to be able to give back to the local lodges and see that this investment reaching back out to the community or at least communicating with the members is actually paying the dividend that we want.
In today's world, if we want to be relevant, nothing is more important than communication. And the Grand Lodge of Virginia has really taken a step forward to make sure that our members get regular, current, updated information. And that's a dramatic change in the history of our craft.
I am a huge proponent for the adoption of Grandview. I was one of the first early adopters, and just that tool alone, I think, really started the transition or metamorphosis, if you will, of the Grand Lodge and its relationship with
the lodges as well as the membership overall. No more is the information held at one location and is highly dependent on a secretary actually sharing the information, or in some cases not. That's great. It's nice to see the Grand Lodge being more open to the lodge and saying, "Hey, I'm here to help. Just ask." Because
really what we discovered when we first started this, when you don't give out information, again, people kind of fill in the blanks. That's what we learned for social media. The Grand Lodge as an organization had not leveraged that, but individual members did. And what we found was the individual members was posting things that really wasn't in line with what the Grand Lodge would want, but it was appearing to be a Grand Lodge post. So one of the first things we did was try to bring that in line. We developed a new social media and digital platform policy that we have to behave. Our digital presence is no different than it is being in the lodge. If you wouldn't do it in lodge, you shouldn't put it out on the airwaves. So again, socialization, because today everybody has that phone in their hand. So it's instant gratification. They don't want to have to go take time out and go look at something. And we know that the attention span is only about 2 to 3 minutes. So even though Grandview is our membership portal, our website is accessible. All the public information is forward facing. You can jump right on that. You don't have to log in and see a lot of the information. Now, although there will be a secure firewall to go behind the door for membership information, most of the events, public ceremonies and events are open and right on our website. So we encourage our members, go there and look at it and see, and send us a message if there's something that you can't find or something that you're looking for. We have a place on there to notify the webmaster. And again, we're always looking for improvement, continuous improvement plans. If you have any job-related background, we're always looking for continuous improvement, right? Yeah. So again, Grand Lodge, thankfully, they looked at this as a service organization. The subordinate lodges are our customers. So we treat them as a customer. And if I'm not making our customer happy, then I'm not making our bosses happy. So again, that's kind of that approach, business approach that we've now taken to move ahead.
And Dennis brought up a good point. One of the most important roles for the committee is to make sure that information that goes out not only is correct, but shows the official stance of the Grand Lodge and our subordinate lodges. And that has been an issue over the year where sometimes people hear rumor or have an opinion that may not be factually correct, and they'll put it out. And once that gets on the internet and people see it, then often it takes on a life of its own. So that's been an important role for the committee to make sure we're putting out accurate and correct information.
Thank you, Most Worshipful, Right Worshipful. This has been a great conversation. Is there anything else that you'd like to offer as we wrap up this session?
All I would say is if you don't have a social media account, get one. Get on Facebook, get on Instagram. That's the only way you're going to be able to keep up with every single day. I want to say our committee, the members on this committee work every day, probably on the hour every day. This isn't a committee that just meets once a month. It is an everyday, it's a full-time job for most all of these project leads to manage and run their set of information so that at the end of the day, it all comes together. Get online, established, like I said, 98 years old, just opened a Facebook because they knew in order for them to keep up, they need to have that information right on their phone, right there in front of them. So go to our website. Again, a lot of information is out there. That's the first step in understanding what is taking place and help us to improve our communications process.
Great. Thank you. All right. Well, that concludes this episode of the 9 Mile Road podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of 9 Mile Road, the official podcast of the Grand Lodge of Virginia, ancient, free, and accepted Masons. If you have questions about this episode, or if you're interested in learning more about Freemasonry, please visit the Grand Lodge of Virginia online at www.grandlodgeofvirginia.org or explore www.beafreemason.org and complete the I'm Interested form. Until next time, thank you for listening and travel safely.